in the bloopers, aren't you?
Probably.
Hey folks, welcome to the farm.
Start that over again. I wasn't recording. Yep.
Hey folks, welcome to the farm. It is July 5th. I hope all of you had a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Patrick, say hello.
Hi.
Hi. Man, it is muggy. My screen's fogging up.
All right, this is the first time we've done this. We are
Turn that down that way. It doesn't echo.
absolute amateurs.
Let me know.
He's implanting your opinion in your head so that you have to. That's how brainwashing works. You're not asking for an opinion. You're asking them to agree with you. Absolute meatloaf goodness right there.
The crazy thing to me is watch her cut this open.
Let's cut in this.
Oh.
Cut it open.
This is what I grew up with, is these two imbeciles.
I'm at the Niagara Falls border crossing, and I can't get these goats and chickens off the trailer and into the canoe to get across the river.
Hello, everybody.
Hey folks, good evening.
So Papa is starting off the afternoon small, because you're small. You're in the small screen.
Oh, I like to be. That means I'm not having to do anything except type.
Right. Now, he's starting off in the small screen this afternoon, and is pretty much going to stay there. He has been hard at work all day long on his greenhouse and little man shed out there at the garden, and it is coming along, Papa.
It's been a year-long process. I started it last year and then doing the big framing, and then I stopped working on it around March because it just got too darn hot to be out there because there was the roof wasn't on it, and it was just hot. It was just the frame. So then I started working on it again back in October when it started cooling down again. I got the roof on, so now I can be out there and it's actually enjoyable. So I'm almost got about 90% done with the greenhouse.
Yeah, the entire back of it between the last. Did we have any plastic panels up last week?
No, I did all that this weekend. Yeah,
so he got the entire back side of the panel. You guys will be seeing it here shortly. I wish we would have done a time lapse pretty much from the very beginning. Papa doesn't like doing those because it is kind of a hassle to really move the camera every few minutes to make sure that you're in the shot. But after you get it all done, and it's my opinion, it's well worth it. So who we got in here, Dad?
We have got The Best Life. Not familiar with them, but welcome to the live. Jan, Simply Jan Homestead is with us. I just watched some videos prior to this. I was watching Jan move about her cow manure. So we don't have cow manure, Jan. We have chicken and goat manure.
We have a lot of goat
manure. Of it. Keto Homestead with Jess. I just finished watching Jess make some pasta. So that was a good video, Jess. Who else we got in here?
Miss Paula.
Paula Wells. Yes, ma'am. How are you? So Paula's been really on me about getting this greenhouse done so that she can see. I did change the ventilation system in it, Paula, from what you had recommended to really a power ventilator. So it's actually got two fans that's mounted up near the ceiling. So
I'm kind of interested in seeing how he's doing that, because they're supposed to be tied into a thermostat. And so when it reaches a certain temperature, they automatically turn on. But then at the same time, they're both hooked up to separate switches, so he can flip one off and the other one will stay. So he made it sound cool.
Silhouette Park Farm, our friends from down under, Adam and I watched. I don't know if it was today or within the last few weeks, but or a few days. Nettie and Adam did a it's about 10 minutes long on down under language, and it's pretty good. You got to watch it. I got to admit, many of the terms I have never heard. So that was enjoyable. Yowell's Hoppin' Hilltop Farm. They just put in a really nice stream. I guess a trickling stream. Sounded really good on film. So nicely done. Getting it done north of 7. Roland, welcome.
Boone Child is here on a Sunday.
Boone is in. So Boone's been the guest of honor at some activities that have been going on this weekend. So she had a big live with Simply Jan the other day, and seen several references to Boone. So Boone is wonderful. Boone is
we skipped over Gardening of the North. I'm sorry, I got excited to see Boone in here on a Sunday, because when I told Boone I was going from Friday afternoon to Sunday afternoon, she was like, "Well, that means I'm not going to be able to make it." So
Boone, welcome.
Happy
Boone is an incredible supporter of all of our lives or homesteading channels. And I don't frankly know how she finds the time to do that. Betty Jean. It advanced. Betty Jean Holson, welcome. Twin Brook Acres, as always, welcome,
Freedom
sir.
Foods Farm.
Monty's in Motion, welcome. Some newer friends there. Jandira, that's another Down Under channel. 2.5 Acres, how are you, sir? Glad to see you. Among Us Plays. That's a new channel for us, I believe. I haven't seen them on our lives in the past.
Well, we are happy to see a lot of new folks. I tell you what, we have
Ashley's Allotment Diary.
Yep. We have a video out. It is the original Buck Barn tour that we did, the walkthrough, and it is getting a lot of traction. On YouTube through suggested views, and so we have picked up a lot of subs within. What do you think, Dad? About a week?
Well, last week we've picked up close to 700.
Yeah.
But it's really coming. It's our structural. There's 3 of them really. It's our first video on our pole barn, the second update video from this year on our pole barn, and then our buck barn. So all 3 of those are really moving up the YouTube list in terms of recommended videos, as well as recommended on the tail of other videos. So, the first barn video was has been on this trajectory since we put it out really spring of last year, but this last year it literally turned straight vertical in the last few days, and sub-wise we've blown up. I think it's about 600 or 700 in the last week.
Yep, it is. It's definitely it's almost completely vertical. So, but again, thank you guys, the ones that have never tuned into a live stream. This Sunday live stream, we call it Help You Grow, and it's really for smaller channels that are that need some advice or need some questions answered, and we try to figure that out. So if you're an actual homesteading channel, this should be pretty interesting to you. If you're just a viewer, then you're here to laugh at me and Papa. So because I think that Papa's pretty funny.
I'm not going to be very funny today because I am literally really tired, and I'm sunburned today. Because even though it was cool out, the sun was out and clear skies. So I got some sunburn today.
He looks like he's got Cabbage Patch doll cheeks right now.
So I'm gonna be dropping links, and then if you got questions, I'm gonna come back and look at questions. So if I don't bring your question up after I start looking at questions, then please drop it again.
Yep.
I'm not nearly as efficient as our moderator extraordinary, extraordinaire Paula Wells. So
telling you what, Miss Lightning Fingers. So thank you to all of our moderators. We want to say that even though this is the Help You Grow segment and they don't have a huge part in it, they are still behind the scenes dropping all the links to our to the people that are commenting. They're also making us pay attention to
I told them they don't do
questions.
it. They don't have a job during this session, so they can
Right.
pay attention to you.
All right. But again, like Papa had said, if you guys do have questions, he is looking through the comments while I'm babbling along. So if you do have a question, make sure you leave it in the comment section. Papa will go ahead and highlight it. And if it is something that I'm not going to get to in this video, then I will do one of two things. I will either answer that or I will put it on a sheet of paper, and that will be another topic in another live. So with that being said, Papa, I'm muting you right now. Okay. All right. So no more background muffled noise and all that kind of stuff for soon, because I'm going to be not sitting across the room, because right now I'm waving at Papa. He's not waving back. So thank you, Dad. Me and Papa have gotten a lot of emails in the past about asking a ton of questions on everything from what kind of editing software you guys use for videos, what kind of photo editing software you guys use for things like thumbnails, the community posts for putting those kind of things together. And we've really already talked about that kind of stuff. Went into detail on the very first Help You Grow segment, talking about software like GIMP and VSDC, and then the more expensive ones like Photoshop and Premiere Pro. And then we've also discussed, in short, another one called Photopea, which is identical more or less to Photoshop, but it is completely web-based and it is completely free. Some of the other questions that we've gotten are detailed questions, like how do you guys get such smooth footage? You know, how's the camera not shaking like crazy when you guys are walking around a barn or walking around this or that around the farm? And then you know, there was a video a while back where Papa did a talking head video, and it doesn't have a bunch of views, but it was kind of a cute family video that he did, talking about everybody's role if by chance we were to have a zombie apocalypse. And I remember that being one of the first videos that we ever used our new camera, or the newish camera. It's brand new, but it's not like a brand new release or anything from Canon. But we used our brand new DSLR, mirrorless, and it was night and day in comparison to what we were used to using, which is I think they call them the Walkman or whatever it's called. It's a Canon flip out, just a regular camcorder. But you know, the background of the talking head video was blurred, and it was just very nice and very crisp. And then you know, what mounts do we use? Because me and Papa on occasion we do some crazy stuff way up here, or where we're walking and it looks like the camera's literally on the ground as we're walking. And those are all mounts that we use, and people are wondering what kind of mounts. So what better video to do than a gear? Everything that the Lala farm, me, Papa, and Lala, and anybody else who might pick up a camera, what they use in filming our videos. So I'm a firm believer. I'm going to start out with this. I'm a firm believer in there is two reasons or two things that make any content, any old content, good quality content. And one of those things I deal with, and one of those things Papa deals with. So one of those things is there's a couple things in this portion, but it's what someone takes away from your video. You know, if they're not taking anything away, then there's really no reason for them to watch it. And it can be a cute video, it could be whatever the case is, but that person has to feel like they have gotten something from watching your video. A laugh or a smile, that's where the cuteness factor comes in. Papa just posted a video last week, or this week actually, because we got a bunch of kids on the ground right now, goat kids, and they are the cutest things. And Papa made a short and he uploaded it. And people, whenever they watch that, they're smiling, they're laughing because they sound like they're saying "ma."
Except for those 5 people out of 800 and some that did a thumbs down. Now, I don't care if you give us a thumbs down if you didn't like it, but what kind of heartless person doesn't like watching little baby goats jump around?
Right.
I mean, I don't get it. So that's my 2 cents.
And this is what Papa does extremely well, is these 4 things. An answered question. So someone comes to YouTube with an answered question, and everybody's done that. You'll get on YouTube trying to figure out how on earth to figure out what's wrong with your lawnmower and why it won't start. And it seems like an electrical issue, and how to diagnose that. People go on YouTube all the time, how to. And with those how-to videos, what they're doing is they're coming to your video in hopes of having a question answered. A new idea. Papa does this all the time, especially with our livestock fence playlist. You go on the livestock fence playlist, and you will leave with a new idea, or a something new to implement on your farm, a solution to a problem that you had. That kind of goes along with both of those last ones, where you get an answered question or you get a new idea, but a solution to a problem that you have had. Michael Harris, if he's in here right now, he will definitely know what I'm talking about. He's about to start a fencing project, and they're when you're pulling fence, it can be a hassle, but eventually it comes to turning the wire and actually connecting the fence back to itself. And thank God Papa came up with or found this one single tool that literally probably saved my fingers. I'd probably be walking around with 5 instead of 10. And it's this little itty bitty metal piece that you literally attach the wire, and it easily wraps the wire around until you get to the top and the bottom strands of wire, which are super thick. But again, that was a solution. So when people come to our channel, your channel, and they find a solution to their problem, they are then they're taking something with them as they go about their day, or hopefully go on to watch more of your channel videos. Or everybody's seen the oddly satisfying videos, and that's exactly what it is. It's oddly satisfying to watch some person overseas in the way they cook on a hibachi grill, as fast as they cook on a hibachi grill. It's oddly satisfying. And then another thing, what, Dad?
Or some of the Australians, such as Adam and Down Under Farm and Forage and Silhouette Park Farm, on their Barbies. I learned that word today.
On their Barbies? That's a barbecue, right? Yeah. And another thing that will make your content quality content, and this is where I come into play, is the quality of the video. Good quality video. Crisp HD footage. If you're shooting at 420p nowadays, that's not cutting it. That's not cutting the bread. The video that focuses on the subject, these are all things that you, as the filmer, a lot of us are filming and we're the subject, which can get daunting at times, but you have to learn how to keep yourself and keep whatever you're working on in the back of you, or keep whatever you're working on in front of you in focus, in the frame, because that is the subject. And then the most important thing, in my opinion, is it has to be easy to watch. If your video is not easy to watch, it's if your video is not easy to watch, it is easy to leave. And if you have an easy to leave video, everybody that's actually joined into these live streams in the past has heard me talk about audience retention. Audience retention is one of almost arguably the most important part of your video, and it has everything to do with how much your video will get suggested, how high it'll rank in YouTube search, the SEO, which is really just all of this combined into one. The SEO is what's going to bring the viewers to your video. But if you do not have quality content that is easy to watch, that means that it's easy to leave, and your audience retention will go down, which means that your suggesteds will automatically go down. And then, of course, making sure that you have the correct footage. You don't want to, if you're shooting slow motion, you don't want to shoot at 30 frames a second. Go ahead, Dan.
A good example is Rick was talking about these barn videos. That is one of the first few that we did early last year. And they've been getting traction almost from the beginning, but it was a steady incline. So it was our best performing video. It's always been our best performing video since about a month after we published it. But in the last month, now there's this movement really around India and Asia called vertically integrated gardening or vertically integrated farming. And because
it's still showing up as in analytics that it's supposed to be like American viewers as well.
Right. So that's what's grabbed onto that. And the only reason they grabbed onto it is because it was a good video to begin with, because it was again one of our best performing videos of all of our videos. And now it's just caught on, and we've literally added 30% of our subscribers in the last 7 days based on 3 videos.
Yep. So, and it has a lot of what I was talking about at first when it says, whenever I was talking about what they can take from it, it had answered questions, it had new ideas, it had a solution to a problem they are having. All of those things were wrapped up into that video due to Papa's extreme attention to detail. So, but on top of video, another thing that you really need to concentrate is audio. And again, we'll get into this as we progress through the live stream. But you want to make sure that you're not sounding muffled. Dad, unmute yourself. Yeah, unmute yourself. So this is a perfect example of what I mean by muffled. Me and him are, I don't know, probably 25 foot away from each other. If I talk really loud, I'm going to sound muffled because I'm actually coming in his microphone on the other side. And people say all the time, all right, thank you, Dad. People say all the time, if we sound muffled, it almost sounds like we're drowning in water. So again, making sure you're not muffled, that'll be fixed once I get up out of this house and back onto the back side of the property in my own. Not being high pitched is another thing, or not being high pitched, but not being too loud in your videos. You want to have that happy medium, and really a good editing software is going to help you with that. Mic not seeming to go in and out. We had a very large issue with our GoPro Hero 6. When we did not have an external microphone on it, it would literally be this loud, and then without fail, it would just drop down to where it was like very barely you could be able to hear somebody, and then it would pick right back up. So it was constantly going up and down. I found out a lot of that was due to it trying to use its onboard mic sensing or wind sensing. I turned that off, and it got a little bit better, but then I got way more wind noise. So with all that being said, we're going to jump into the guts of this video. And we're going to talk about some cameras. So we religiously use 2 cameras, and one of these cameras, it is because this is the camera.
I don't think we do it religiously. We do it very steadily.
Okay. Very steadily. Thank you, Dad. Thank you. Thank you.
Saying. You make it sound like a cult.
Yeah, we're not the Canon cult.
No, we're
We're not a Canon cult or a GoPro cult. So we use these two cameras more than anything else. Is that right, Dad? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, so the M50, which is a Papa's going to drop. So also, as I'm talking about these, Papa's going to be dropping affiliate links. These affiliate links, you guys just go out and check out the cameras themselves or the equipment itself, the gear that we're going to be talking about. But at the end of the day, again, these are affiliate links. So if you do by chance buy something on Amazon, it will help our channel out in the meantime. So I don't know, buy your wife some body lotion or some goat soap or something customized off Amazon, and we'll get a little pice of the pie.
Or hardware, because it's a lot cheaper. Hardware because it's a lot cheaper than it is at Home Depot.
Yeah. So, but he's going to be dropping affiliate links so you guys can check out all this stuff. So the M50 that we have is the Canon M50. It's this bad boy right here, and it's sitting on top of a Joby and has an external mic on top of it. This right here is the camera. This is my preferred camera. It is that camera right there is what, if me and Papa are doing we just put out the one yesterday about him talking about the Milwaukee 4-in-1 drill, which is an awesome video, by the way. I recommend you guys checking it out. But it is great for that kind of thing. It's very, very detailed video. And then, packed with that mic on top, it makes for great content. What's sitting on that camera right now is a 15 to 45 millimeter kit lens. It's the lens that comes with the camera, and it's good so it does have interchangeable lenses. You can go get, I think they call it a pancake lens, which is like a super, super close-up lens for taking really, really close but detailed photos. And you can get, of course, your telescopic lenses that'll, take pictures of Mars. But all those things can be placed onto the M50. So it's not the most budget-friendly camera, but that is by far the most expensive camera on our list of stuff. So hold on one second. I apologize for that. I had to get rid of some boys. Go downstairs. Yep, I am. All right. So the M50 with the kit lens, it's great for the talking head segments. It's also good for scenery and stuff like that. If you got a focus in the background, they're still over there talking up a storm. So it has decent onboard stabilization, meaning that if you're having to walk with the camera and there's a little bit of shake, it's going to try its hardest to, as long as you're not shooting in 4K, it's going to try its hardest to go ahead and keep that footage stabilized. That way it's easy to watch. Stabilization is very important in cameras. So it also shoots great thumbnails. If we have the M50 out there, kit lens. Yes, kit lens just means that it's the lens that comes with the kit. That's all kit lens is. So if you look up the M50 on Amazon, the kit lens is what comes with the camera. But the kit lens itself that comes with the camera is that 15 by 45 millimeter lens. So, but if, like I said, we have the M50 out there, it's great for thumbnails. It takes very, very clean thumbnails that are much easier to edit than say a GoPro Hero. But it is heavy. And again, like I had said, it's not the not the least expensive camera on the list of cameras that we use. But there's a ton of settings that you can really. So you would suggest a great camera then? I use a GoPro and my phone. So you would suggest a great camera. I mean, I would suggest if you can upgrade your equipment, I mean, I always would recommend upgrading your equipment. Even our M50 is great it is to us. I mean, if I had the opportunity to upgrade, then yes, I would. What's the camera that you have over there, Dad?
I have the
80D, I think.
I have the 80D, but I use this for still photos.
So the difference between an M50, I will show you. Hold on.
Well, to answer your question quite bluntly, no, you don't. But it's going to give you better video quality. We use the M50. Frankly, when I'm doing a video, very, very rarely will you ever see me using the M50. The video that we did yesterday on the tool review of the 3-in-1 Milwaukee tool, that used both cameras. One was set up to my right, and the other was the GoPro looking straight down. The Canon M50 setup, I screwed up. That's why I'm talking to the M50, but I had the whole thing focused wrong on me. Rick likes to use the M50 because it gives him more flexibility in his editing, and it really gives incredibly crisp video.
Yeah, you can't beat the M50 when it comes to clarity. M50 and GoPro, it's not the same camera. They're not used to do the same thing.
The GoPro camera, if you've ever noticed on when you're looking at video on a GoPro, everything is in focus. The foreground and the background is all in focus because the lens can't differentiate the background from the foreground. The M50 will blur the background. It looks much more professional. It just looks more professional. It looks more cinematic. Will it make or break you? Absolutely not. I mean, no. I do a lot. Most of the stuff that I do personally, when Rick doesn't direct me, is on the GoPro. And the
GoPro is not by any means whatsoever. That GoPro, you could do every ounce of your footage on a GoPro. So this is the difference between, and this is why we don't use Papa's 80D. There's a huge, which is 80D. There's a huge difference between these two. Papa, go ahead.
This is what I use when I travel. So this is a very large camera. Now this I can do video with, and it does video just like this one does. But the size, the size is significantly larger.
Show the front. That's where, there's a massive, man, you are a great man.
This is the one that we use but this is the one we could use, but this literally weighs, I bet, 4 pounds, 5 pounds, maybe. It's a heavy camera. I use this when I do still photos. So when you see photos that are taken on our Facebook page with the telephoto, this is the camera that I'm using because I've got telephoto lens for this. I also have what's called a macro lens that I can literally. I went down to the University of Florida, I don't know, a couple of years ago, and went to the butterfly. Went to the butterfly sanctuary there as part of the Natural History Museum, and I'm putting my macro lens on this 80D. I could literally take pictures and footage of the butterfly's tongue as it unrolled out of its head. So, and you can actually see the individual hairs on the butterfly. So I use that personally. I don't think we've ever done a video with it, and I don't think we ever will because I don't want it.
Nobody wants to carry around 4 pounds.
I take good care of it. Yeah. So I don't use it for YouTube.
Yeah, that is one thing that you do have to consider when doing an M50 or using any DSLR for that matter, is you really have to of course, you can get the kit lens, the lens that comes with it. You know, whether it be like a pancake lens or a 15x45 or something like that. But you have to be, if you want to make that your main camera and make it do everything that you want, you're going to have to be willing to kind of spend a little bit, because the lenses a lot of the time are just as much as the body of the camera. That telescopic lens, or that you know, the telescope that's on Papa's 80D is not, that's not $100.
No, I've collected all the lenses for this, and that's why, again, I kind of use Canon alone, because all of the lenses have been. I used to have a Canon Rebel, which is, you know, similar in size to this one, but doesn't. It is very, very slim on what it does. But the Canon, all of their cameras, as long as you stay within that EOS brand, all of the lenses fit. So I've collected my lenses probably over 20 years. So it's not something that I've just went out and buy a bunch of camera equipment. So yep. I think my telephoto was probably $800, and I think the macro was close to $1,200. And so that's why I don't haul them around on the farm to take YouTube videos.
No. Yeah, and there's a very large price difference. I think we picked up our M50 for, and again, this is still not cheap. This is not a throwaway camera. This is something that definitely, if we dropped, there would definitely be some definitely be some bleeps and some censored stuff. But I think we paid $650 for the M50.
Or thereabouts.
Yeah, somewhere around there. And it came with the M50 body. It came with the kit lens, which is the lens that comes with it. It also came with the Rode Mic Go Mini, or Rode Mic Go. So anyway, moving on. We could talk about the M50 forever, but it's a great camera, and it is what we do all of our really crisp footage with. Going to the GoPro Hero 6 Black. Papa, if you want to go ahead and drop the affiliate link for that. Sounds like my garden tours would look better with that lens. Yes, especially the pancake lens, as long as you're able to get really close to whatever you're filming. So the GoPro Hero 6 Black, we use that camera a lot. And the thing is the GoPro Hero 6 Black is actually let's see, we're on 9 right now. And so they've had a 7, an 8, and a 9. And this is the 6. So this is several years old. You could pick one of these things up right now, if I cared to guess, probably around the $230 range, if not cheaper. And I've
seen those for around 160, 175.
Yeah. Now, granted, it's just going to be the camera, but yes, you can get these right here for a really reduced price, and it is an awesome camera. Go ahead.
Say my Alabama farm life. The Rebel's a great camera. That's what I use for the better part of 20 years, and yeah.
We still have a Rebel that sits over there.
Yeah, I only upgraded to. Well, I actually gave my Rebel to my daughter, and then. But all of the lenses will upgrade to the higher levels of Canon, which is why I stick with Canon products.
Yeah, they're awesome. So, but the GoPro Hero 6, we use it for the reason why this is like Papa's camera is it is really push to start, almost push to start. So if you have a camera. The camera only, you're using no external microphone. Filming with it is literally as simple as pressing the button on the top. It'll automatically start recording. And so for, say if your dog's doing something really funny and you want to go ahead and you want to get them doing it right then and there, or you got goats hopping and you want to catch it really fast, the GoPro is that's a great feature on it. It also does super great slow motion, in my opinion. So I'm going to show you really quick what I mean. We recently got a Rode directional mic. That was a good upgrade. Yes, ma'am. Or I don't know who's her. Yes. All right. It could be. So, but all right. So, but yes, the Rode mics in general, all of them are, I don't really know very many Rode products that aren't great. So I'm going to switch over and show you guys this right here. This is a video that me and Papa did. Me, Papa, and Lala. Really, everybody was included in this video. And what it is just the beginning of goat season. And I'm not going to show you guys the entire video. What I am going to show you is the intro. And just pay attention to what is considered B-roll. Which is no audio. There's no audio to it. It's really just visually appealing. And it was shot in it was shot in 120 frames a second at 1080p.
Why don't you talk about that in the interaction between speed and
Nobody can hear you, Dad.
Why don't you talk about that, the speed between frames per second, or the frame, how frames per second, how that goes along with slow-mo as well as speed it up?
Well, if you think about what frames are, so frames is nothing more than a photo. So normally a camera, without really doing any type of tweaking, a lot of the time they film in 30 frames a second, meaning that within a 30-second period, it takes it within a 1 second period, it takes 30 photos. So within a 30-second period, or within a 1 second period, it takes 30 photos. And what that does is it makes up your video. Now, of course, if you want to do slow motion, it's not going to slow the person watching's vision down. And so if you take 30 frames a second and drag that even further, you're going to get very choppy footage. The more frames that your camera can take within a 1 second photo, or within a 1 second period, the slower you can make your footage, and it still not be choppy. And it still be that smooth footage. Again, easy to watch. So that's what the frames per second. It just means that per second, your camera is either taking 30 frames or 60 frames or 90 frames or 120, 240. And so this was shot at 1080, and it was shot in 1080, and it was shot at 120 frames a second. Like I said, just watch the slow motion, and this is what the GoPro Hero 6 can do. Just think about what the 9 can do. So what's happening? Before we get started, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Make sure you guys ring that notification bell for future content. Let's get into it. So again, this is that slow motion that I was telling you about, with the tires, the monster walking. So this is all GoPro footage, and then one of the scenes that I really like, if I can find it really quick, is actually of Papa wrangling Jarl. It is, as long as I can find it. If it takes me too long, I just won't.
It's like one of the coolest. It's toward the end. It's one of the coolest. It's one of the coolest bits of.
It makes you look like a beast. Like
keep
you
going.
No, this is it right here. It's gonna cut an ad right in front of it.
Watch live and local news on a variety of networks with YouTube TV. Try it free.
Cardio burns fat, right? No. Cardio actually burns calories.
Thank you, Captain America. All right. So again, just the GoPro and the slow motion is really what made that footage look as appealing as it did, in my opinion. That was some really, really good footage. And again, that was all shot with the GoPro Hero 6 at 120 frames. So slow motion is really, really good on that. Another thing is that the camera does shoot. The camera does shoot at 4K, but it drops down to, if I'm not mistaken, it shoots 4K at 60 frames a second. So you can't shoot your really, really high frame rates at 4K, but it does give you true 4K. I don't ever use 4K because, especially with YouTube, because the majority of the time when people are watching your videos, they're watching it on one of these things right here. And 1080p and 4K, your eyes can't tell the difference. So again, we shoot at 1080p. It is a very easy camera to operate. I'm going to take it out real quick and show you guys how, I mean, I'm sure the majority of you guys have actually seen GoPros. I have it in a cage right now just because, one, we have the external mic on it, and also because we beat it around quite a bit. But as you can see, there's one button at the top. There is a button on the side right there, and that's it. Other than that, the controls, you control it with the touch screen right here. But you can turn it on as simple. It is as simple as literally hitting the record button on top, or you can turn it on and then record. But it's a very simple camera to use, and I think that is what is so enticing to Papa about the camera, is because it's ease of operation. And then GoPro, for as long as GoPro's really been around, you got a couple competitors, DJI, and there's another one, the Insta series of cameras, the Insta 360. They're definitely competitors when it comes to video stabilization or onboard stabilization. But GoPro, for as long as they've been around, has definitely been a leading competitor in onboard stabilization. The drawbacks to this is it does not have a very good onboard microphone. So you're going to have to, if you want good audio, you're going to end up having to invest in a microphone adapter and some type of external microphone. And it is also a versatile. It's great for versatile shots, because I mean, this thing will literally, it will fit in a lot of little cracks and crevices that you can't fit, of course, like an M50 or a traditional DSLR or camcorder. So, and then the other thing to just touch on really quick is my Moto G power. I got a prepaid cell phone service, and my biggest concern is making sure that I got a camera on my phone that's worth anything. And so I ended up getting the Moto G Power, and it shoots at 4K. It doesn't shoot well at 4K, but it does shoot 4K. I wouldn't say it's true 4K. It's more like an upgraded 1080p, but it also shoots 1080p though up to 60 frames a second, and then it also has a slow motion option on it. But it has decent stabilization. This is, again, it's worth mentioning just because this is another thing that we use on the camera or on the farm for filming. And then, but because of the fact that it's always with me, a lot of the time, this is what we shoot our thumbnails with. The thumbnail that was taken today, I had the GoPro and the M50 in my hands, and so I had to come up with a different way of taking a photo, and so it was taken on my Moto G. And then also I have this phone, it has nothing to do with filming, nothing to do with audio, but one thing I use this for all the time is if I am filming Papa, as Papa says, directing, I use a app on here called Keep Notes by Google, and it's more or less a checklist. And so I take notes on that. So if Papa's talking about killing rats or lack of killing rats with one of his rat traps, I can put in there really quick while he's continuing to talk. I can go ahead and say, while he's continuing to talk, I can go ahead and say, get B-roll of rat trap. So that's another thing I use that for. So that really concludes our cameras. So we're going into external. We're going to our mics now. So the Rode Mic Go, again, going back to the M50, it is a larger mic. And I can't remember who was that, Dad, that said who was that said that they upgraded to a Rode mic and said that it was a great upgrade?
I don't recall. It was somebody in here earlier.
I think it was Conrad. Pretty sure it was Conrad Homestead. So
Bomber Steve, I think.
I'm pretty sure it was Conrad, because she had said they had said that, and then I had said yes, she's right, and then I wasn't sure. Yep, we recently got the Rode Directional Mic, and that was a good upgrade. So if you have good audio, again, that's going to really heighten the quality. It's really gonna it's going to increase the quality of your content tremendously, in my opinion. Because if you're annoying to listen to, again, it's not easy to watch and it's easy to leave. So the Rode Mic Go is what came with our M50, and it was actually the first external microphone that I've ever owned. Even with other adventures into YouTube with another channel that I had never had an external microphone. And it was really just because I was always out on a kayak with the possibility of flipping, and I had zero interest in losing that much money. And so the cool thing about the Rode mic is it does not require external power. A lot of the time, whenever you get mics, especially your larger external microphones, they actually require their own separate power. And so you'll have to put a AA battery or a couple AAA batteries in them to get them to run. But with it not having a requirement for external power, it still gives you great sound quality, and it reduces the wind a lot. So that wind noise on those really gusty days, and you're like, well, you're trying to find a wall to hide it behind so you can get some footage. You throw a dead cat, which is, it looks like a black and silver cat's tail that you put on your microphone, and I mean it cuts the noise completely out. Unless you're in a hurricane or something like that, then you're still going to get some wind noise. But if it's just a regular windy day where before it would just sound way too muffled, you slap that dead cat or even just the sock a lot of the time will make a huge difference. Another cool thing about especially plugging in the M50, I'm not going to speak for all DSLR cameras, but a lot of the time with the DSLR cameras and the Rode Mic Go, it's plug and play. So you slap it on the top in the shoe and of the camera, slap it into the shoe and plug it in, and you're good to go. It'll automatically register it as an external mic. And the only thing I don't like about the Rode Mic Go is their cradle that the microphone sits on. So where'd it go? Papa has it. Hey, Papa, show him that. Yes. So the top, you see these two yellow bands on the top. They're zip ties. Thank you, Vanna White. The reason why those yellow zip ties.
Here, so.
The reason
I'm not sure everything is reversed.
the yellow zip ties on the top. All right, we got it, Dad. Thank you. The yellow zip ties on the top are there simply because that cradle broke within literally just a couple of days of me and Papa having it. And again, you know, something that expensive, you know, there's definitely some black censored tape over your mouth whenever something like that breaks. And but we zip tied it. It works fine. It does great. It still doesn't have any knocking noise. And the whole purpose of those is if you do by chance pop it up against something or as you're walking, it doesn't generate sound from the knocking of the camera. So
You got a question from Paula.
do you recommend one windsock over another? No. Socks are just, in my opinion, socks are just socks. The dead cat that came.
And just for the record, I don't like this dead cat because when the external mic on the GoPro is activated, then it basically hangs in front of the camera, and I don't like it.
Yep. So this is the dead cat, and no, I do not recommend any other dead cat over another dead cat. I am sure you're gonna have some real dead cat extraordinaires out there can tell you the difference. To me, it's just a sock with a whole bunch of fur on it that keeps wind noise from coming in. That's my non-educated dead cat advice. How does it connect to the camera? Question, how does it connect to the camera? Okay, so with this GoPro, it is the GoPro Hero 6, and because it is a little bit older, you have to purchase. This is the whole thing without it actually being in the case itself. So this is the microphone for the GoPro, and then that's that whole setup. Whoops. That's that whole setup. So that's the adapter, the cord that it comes with, the auxiliary cord. This is the sock, and then underneath the sock, which I'm not going to take the sock off because it's a pain in the butt to get back on. That is where the actual microphone is. This is something that you have to purchase from GoPro, and it is, I would have assumed that by now someone somewhere would have said, you know what? GoPro is making a ton of money off these things because they are literally the only one that sells it, and there would be an aftermarket mic adapter. No, there's not anyone that sells one that works. So this is a GoPro external mic adapter, and literally all it is for is to plug. That's a USB-C. The USB-C plugs into the side of your camera, and then this, along with the cage, it sits up here in that little spot, and then your camera sits way up here, but it more or less daisy chains all the way around. I know it looks super messy out of the camera, but again, it's not once you actually wrap it up and put it the way it's supposed to go in. But the cool thing is, and the way to get away from this is, instead of buying a GoPro Hero 6, we're going to talk about my shopping list or my wish list later on. The best way to get away from all of this stuff right here is to get a newer GoPro, and there's no need for a microphone or no need for a mic adapter, because you can literally just, at that point, that whole adapter pack right there goes away, and you can just plug straight into the side of the GoPro with this. So that's a pain in the butt. I don't like it, but I'm also not willing to drop $400 right now on a new camera. So, because we have enough. Does not require external plug and play. Just don't like this cradle. Broke within a few days of having the mic. So that's going to lead us into this one, which is the Moki It is a brand that has really good reviews on Amazon, but it's not popular like the Rode mic, but it's also not expensive like the Rode mic. I think I picked that up somewhere in the neighborhood of like $30 for the GoPro, because believe it or not, this right here was 30 and this right here was 50. So in order to get an external mic on my GoPro Hero 6 from start to finish cost me about $70. Yep, $74.99 up here in Canada. Chewed mine. Oh gosh, yeah. Do you need an adapter for a Hero 7? I don't know if you need the adapter for a Hero 7. Without looking really quick up on YouTube so I can get an answer to my question. I hope Santa is watching. I promise to be a good boy this year. Yep. Yeah, I got a birthday coming up in a week. I'm not going to get that though. I might get a couch or something for my new house coming up. But anyway, yes, Santa hopefully is watching and he gets me one next year. And I do not see and plug on the side of it, so just the 9 has the plug. I have a GoPro Hero 9 and I do not see a plug on the side of it. So when you say not a plug on the side of it, Paul, are you talking about the USB-C, or are you talking about the auxiliary jack like this? Because if it has an auxiliary jack like this, you should not need an adapter. So again, moving on to this one, is really the notes are about the same exact thing on this one. It's another plug and play, no external power needed. The difference is the cradle for this. It's cheaper. It's not nearly as intense of a cradle in comparison to the Rode mic, but I love this cradle. It does the same exact thing as the other cheaper cradle, or the other more expensive cradle does with the Rode mic, but it's much, much smaller and it's much better built. And I have hit this thing up against more things than I could possibly count, more things than I'm happy to admit, and it is still solid, and literally it pops back up there and that's where it sits, and it stays out of the frame of the camera. As long as, like Papa was saying earlier, the dead cat's not up there. This has been informative. Thanks. I have to get going. Chicken Johnny, it was I'm super thankful you guys came in and watched us. I don't know if we've ever seen you guys in the channel. Have we, Dad? Have we, Chicken Johnny? Okay. Well, I'm happy that you stopped by, Chicken Johnny. Thank you. So comes with a sock and a dead cat. That's definitely a plus side. It comes with a dead cat. The difference between a sock, by the way, if you don't know, this is a sock and that's a dead cat. So, and it is the thing that makes this so nice for a GoPro. Now, granted, you could use this for a GoPro or the M50. What makes this so nice for a GoPro is the fact that it does have such a small footprint. The microphone doesn't stick way out here, and so it's out of frame.
Yeah, the advantage of having, even that sock on it is, if you're recording with your cell phone, all of that ambient noise that you hear, particularly wind noise, is all going into that video. Whereas,
for example, if we had the sock on tonight, Papa's microphone, we wouldn't hear any kids.
Yeah. So whether it's the sock or the dead cat, it eliminates a lot of that wind noise that you get in your video. So, if you're in a setting, or if you're wherever you live, if you get a lot of wind, and that's a big problem in your videos, then you should probably try using either a sock or even go to a dead cat, because it eliminates all of that wind and noise from entering into the mic, and you get a much clearer stream that way.
Yeah, most definitely. So that pretty much eliminates all of our external microphones. So now we're getting into the mounts and how we mount things and how we carry cameras around, and the benefits of each of those. So I I didn't bring it up to Papa. A lot of the times he'll say, if we need something for the farm, just let me know and we'll buy it. I wonder how many cats are running around with it. Well, they're old cats. It's black and gray haired cats. So I really could not, I don't feel as if I could have justified purchasing this through the farm. I really had to save up my own money and purchase this. This right here, you guys, without really putting it in your hands, you cannot tell the difference. And for those of you that have bit the bullet and gone out and gotten a Joby GorillaPod, you will know and you will appreciate everything that I am saying right now. If you look at this and then you go on to Amazon and you go and you find something that is equivalent, that looks the same. If you go, I now use a Sony ZV-1 and my GoPro Hero. I have never heard of a ZV-1. It's just so hard to get the darn SD card in and out of the GoPro Hero 8, and I got to take the battery out first. Yes, that is, if you are used to a DSLR and then you move over to a GoPro, the GoPro Hero 6 is the same exact way. You got to take which I don't know how often you are having to take your SD card out. We have a 200, it is a massive SD card. But yes, take the battery out and then use my big Shrek fingers to take my 250, you're not going to be able to see that, 256 gig micro SD card out. So pretty penny, but it eliminates the need to switch out SD cards all day long. And the only thing we have to do is change the battery. So again, if you guys have this already, you will appreciate this. This is called a Joby GorillaPod. It is solid metal. All these balls that are machine fitted are very, very, very sturdy. This is not a light mount at all. This tripod actually weighs more than the M50 itself. So I'm putting on the M50 up here, and it weighs less than the actual mount does itself. What? That's a really close.
So if you go on to Amazon right now, you're going to see things that look like this.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Now it kind of looks like what Rick's holding is his hand. The difference is night and day. This thing moves and squeaks and makes all kind of noise. And when all of that moving and squeaking that this tripod is doing while you're filming is all coming into your audio.
Yep.
That thing makes no noise, that Joby GorillaPod. It is really... I would say that's probably one of the best investments equipment wise that we have made. I mean, it's
again, with that being said, before we bought this, I didn't even go to Papa to try to buy this with the farm money or the YouTube money or anything. I literally, because I think we actually bought this before we got monetized, but I would never have gone to Papa to purchase this because I was even uncertain myself. When purchasing this. I was thinking to myself, man, I can't remember how much it was. It was either almost $100 or right at $100 for this thing. But what, Dad?
So I use that really cheap one that I just showed you. That's what's holding my streaming camera, because that's about, then that camera probably weighs, the streaming camera that we use probably weighs just a few ounces, and it doesn't collapse under that. If we put the M50 onto the mount that I just showed you, although on Amazon they're going to say that it's this great mount used for holding cameras, it would collapse.
Yep, immediately out of the box.
Right.
And then you give it a couple weeks of good use. Then you give it a couple weeks of good. Then you give it a couple weeks of good use, and those balls starting to wear out on the tripod portion of it. And then, I mean, you, like Papa said, you put that M50 on top, and it literally just does a split. So, Can't use a cord to access files on GoPro. Can't you use a cord to access? You can, but again, if you don't have a large SD card, you're constantly having to switch them out, or you're having to go inside and do all that nonsense. And I also don't want I don't like linking things to my phone. I mean, that's just, I think the only reason I even have a Facebook anymore is because of YouTube. But I use the Joby Pod to hold my phone when I film snake releases. I am going to have to check out Bomber Steve's YouTube channel if he does snake releases. Yeah. I try to get them to slide through the legs. Papa said he likes your
The Iron Maiden thumbnail.
So I try to get them to slide through the legs. Yeah, that's really cool. But so Bomber Steve, my question to you is, have you purchased the cheaper ones that the webcam sitting on over on Papa's desk? And now that you have the Joby, hands down, let me know what you think, because you'd be crazy to say that the off-brand or the generic one is better than the Joby. It's next level stuff. So moving on from the Joby to the Wasabi Power Monopod. We'll get further into Wasabi Power and what Wasabi Power is. It's a company overseas, but it is they make some phenomenal products. That's what all of our batteries are. So this right here, not this. This is the cage for the GoPro. This right here is a Wasabi Power monopod, and then it has a little itty bitty tripod on the bottom. And the GoPro 90% of the time sits on this, and this is what we turn and do all of our filming, all of our vlogging style filming with. The only thing that I do not like about this, and you can actually take this off, but you can hear it. All that cracking comes into all that cracking as you're walking. If you don't have your hand around it like this, comes into the microphone, and the whole time you're having to listen to crack, 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 crack. So, but the monopod, it has a GoPro fitting on top, and it's literally just a monopod. The cool thing about this one is if by chance you do want to use if you do by chance find yourself needing to, or you ran out of batteries and you need to go ahead and charge your GoPro, this is also a battery. This whole thing right here is a 5200 milliamp battery. What you got, Papa?
While Rick thinks a lot of this tripod, I don't really care for it, or this monopod, because the tripod on it is next to useless, because the camera equipment that goes on top of that makes that really, really top heavy, and it tends to tip over if it's not perfectly balanced. So yep. I don't really care for it. It's perfect for walking around if you're filming. That's what I primarily use it for, but I don't ever use it to try to actually use it as a tripod, because it tends to tip over.
I use it for that, but you got to be careful. You're right. So the snap mount, I wish I had more time to talk about this thing. Yeah, this is what I recommend you do. I recommend that you go look at the video that I did about snap mount. I recommend that you go and you take a look at that video that I did about snap mount. This is a newer company, and this is a snap mount. And the cool thing about snap mount is that and that are all magnets. So you place your GoPro here. It actually would go like this. You place your GoPro here. It's pointing this way. You walk up to anything that's metal and slap it on. So here is what they call the Chesty Mount. Everybody's used to having to use, don't make fun of my thing right there. Everybody's used to having the kind of chesty mounts that take forever to go ahead and to put on your chest. And they're pretty secure, but they get in the way and they're a pain in the butt. as you can see, this right here is on the monopod. In order to get a chesty mount, it's as simple as that. So that in itself is a super versatile mount. And then again, once you take it off your chest, you slap it back onto your monopod. And this thing, whenever I ran across it, it absolutely sold itself.
If you check out the video that we did a couple of weeks ago where I'm cleaning out the chicken waterer, I'm wearing that mount using the lanyard that Rick just put on. I'm using the snap mount, which is magnetic, mounted to that lanyard for that video. So all of the footage where you see me kind of turning and doing all the activities, I'm wearing the GoPro on that snap mount. And when I wanted to get up closer, I just pull it off and look. What are you laughing at?
Paula Wells, you know your country when you can rock a reverse tail.
You know your country.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So you've got like a reverse mullet.
Yeah. So, all right, what's next? The Papa's tripod.
Twinberg Gager says at least you have hair.
Yep. I do. I wish it would just fall out, but I'm looking at my family tree, and that's not happening.
I put the snap mount link in because it's not available on Amazon. You can't get it there. Yep. You got to get it directly from the company. So I put that link in there.
Now I will say this. So with that being said, I don't know if it's actually, it's this one. So this snap mount, I abused it because I really wanted to see what it was capable of doing. And I put it on our mower, which I think is what happened. I put it on our mower for probably about 4 hours with it vibrating and shaking and just rattling this thing to Hades and back. And what ended up happening is it actually cracked right here on the corner. Nothing fell off. Nothing kept it from working solidly still. But I noticed as I was taking it off, I noticed that a small portion was cracked. So I emailed Snap Mount because they had emailed me and reached out and said, thank you for making the video. We appreciate the review because I purchased this with my money. But I wrote them back and I said, hey, listen, I put this thing through absolute hell. And I broke the snap mount. Didn't really affect the way it worked or anything like that, but I said just the little corners broke. And she said, no worries, I'll send you another one. They shipped it expedited. So I think like it was 3 days tops. I got another mount. And just an awesome company. The direction that they're going is outstanding, and they seem like really decent people in customer service. So all right, let's go to Papa's tripod. So Papa's tripod is Papa's tripod because Papa's the one that uses the tripod. Papa uses this tripod all the time. It's a large, I think I got it on Amazon, but it's so old I couldn't even tell you what kind of tripod it is, but it's a pretty solid tripod. And Papa uses that, but it's a tripod.
Well, I use it because it is really solid. Yep. So when you, again, going back to that chicken, cleaning out the chicken, the water catchment watering system video from a couple of weeks ago. So I'm wearing the GoPro on the snap mount, and then I have the M50 in that video was mounted on the tripod, and that's the continuous shot of the water barrel where you're seeing me do everything. So in that case, I was using the M50. Normally I'd be using the GoPro, but again, if you're doing static shots, that M50 works really, really, really well.
Paula, Conrad, yes, that is true. When going over all of this, a lot of the time your budget will conflict with what you want. Paula, It was something about is it adjustable? So this right here, you put it around your neck, this portion of it. There you go. That's a better view. You put this around your neck through here. All right. And then you take this and that adjusts wherever you want it. I mean, of course, your neck wouldn't be that small, but you adjust it wherever you want it. And then that's where it will sit on your chest, either way up here or way down here. I don't have boobs, so I don't know. I mean, it would probably sit up here a little bit, but the cool thing about it is once you set that up on there, at
What
that
did you
point,
just
then
say?
said I don't have boobs.
Oh, I thought you said I don't have a booth, and I'm like, what?
No,
All
boobs.
right, all right. I would agree. All right, I second that.
So again, if the mount itself is sitting like this on your chest, you can then adjust the tilt to where the camera would face forward. So, all right, that's as far as I'll get into that. Moving on to batteries, and batteries are going to be like super quick. We use, again, the Wasabi batteries. This is actually a Wasabi battery for the Canon. And then I have orange Wasabi batteries back on the charger right now that are charging. He didn't have boots.
I thought he said booth.
Yeah, booth. They are super reliable. They have a tendency of like, staying. They don't stay charged for longer. But they have a tendency of draining and then not being able to hold that same amount of milliamps. So I have a dirty mind, so I knew what he's they are super expensive, especially when you're talking about Canon batteries, because Canon ain't cheap when it comes to batteries, and neither is GoPro. GoPro is extremely proud of their batteries. It's like $35 or $40 for one battery. Yeah, not cheap. And then even the GoPros, like the much older GoPros, whenever they first started doing rechargeable batteries, where you could have multiple batteries with you and go out and then just change out the battery instead of having to bring the whole camera back and charge it, back in like the Hero 2, 3, and I think 4 is maybe when they came out with the batteries, but the 2s and 3s. And then they always come with a good charger, and that's another key selling point to me, is they come with a good charger, and so you can charge 2 or 3 batteries at a time. So, but stock batteries, we do have stock batteries, but only for the M50. I don't think I have any stock batteries left for the GoPro, because they have all lost a charge so many times that they no longer operate. But yeah, we do have some for the M50, but I still prefer Wasabi over M50 batteries. So I promised you guys the little wish list. We're at 123 minutes. So we're gonna be cutting out here pretty soon, but I promised you guys a wish list. The wish list for me would be, again, that Insta 360. It's a modular camera. So you have these lenses literally come apart. Like, you can take the lens off and then put another lens on, but it's still an action camera, and it's still waterproof. It has these big, huge orange batteries that go from one side of the camera to the other side of the camera, and they slap on like that. But look up Insta 360. They are really, really cool. If I did get an Insta 360, I would want all the lenses, and the whole pack thing, or the whole set of everything with, I think, 2 batteries is like $800. So again, wish list, but not something that we have on the farm. The cool thing about the Insta 360 is they have your standard camera, or your standard lens, your wide angle lens, and then they also have your 360 lens, which is on both sides. So you can literally film yourself and what's in front of you and get all the way around. I think there's only like that much space that it does not catch, and that's the width of the camera. Another thing, if I didn't get the Insta 360, it would definitely be the GoPro Hero 9. GoPro Hero 9 is the definite plus for me, would be the no need again for the external mic adapter. You can just plug your auxiliary straight into it. And also where this has the screen in the front, there's still a screen in front of the GoPro 9, but is actually a image. So you can see if you're in focus when using your GoPro. Is there a different brand like GoPro that would be good? Insta 360 and DJI. DJI. Osmo Action, I think is what DJI is. But yes, those are the three that I would recommend. Now, if you're looking for the cheaper, what I used to refer to them is the throwaway cameras. You don't want to throw away any money at all, but if I had to get a camera that I would not be cussing if it fell into the water and it left me forever, I would be more irritated about losing the footage than the camera itself, would probably be what they call a light dowel. I can't even remember how you spell it, but I used to use them all the time. I think I had like 10 of them. But it's called a light dowel camera. And they all say that they shoot in 4K. They do not shoot in 4K whatsoever. They shoot at 1080p. They have okay audio quality. But again, they're like $45. That's why I referred to them as throwaway cameras. But other than that, I think they have Cam Park also. Cam Park's another good one that's been around for a little while. But again, they say that they shoot in 4K. They don't. They have awful onboard stabilization. So if you shake the heck out of them, you'll be able to see every shake. But yeah, if I was gonna buy something other than a GoPro, it'd have to be a DJI Osmo Action or a Insta 360, or just stick with the GoPro. But again, that GoPro 9 is also another thing on there. More Joby mounts. There are different sizes of Joby mounts, and from what I understand, they also have different things other than just the tripod. But because they are so expensive, we're stuck with the tripod. But I would definitely get more Joby tripods and mounts. And then my absolute wish, does light dowel have decent stabilization? No. Nope. Light dowel doesn't, and neither does Cam Park. The best thing that you can do is purchase a gimbal, which I can't remember the name, but I had a gimbal, still have it somewhere. I just never used it because they're a pain in the butt to have to set up. And I can barely get Dad to take a camera out of the house, let alone put a camera on a gimbal and go shoot. But DJI drone, I would love a drone. I really, really, really want a drone.
That is not a fair statement. You're correct that I do not enjoy the video. I'm a doer.
Yes.
I'm not a setter-upper.
Yes.
Setting up annoys me. Doing does not.
Which is why I said the GoPro by itself is an awesome setup for you.
I'm building my greenhouse, but it would irritate the hell out of me if I had to videotape every step. I wouldn't be done enough for another 2 years if I had to videotape that.
The only thing that would make him happy is if he did do that and then got a ton of views, which would happen. But again, what he needs to do before that, he's not willing to do, which I don't blame him, because it is a pain in the rear end to have to sit there and move that camera every so often. So, but the DJI drone, one day I will have a drone one day. Setter upper. Yeah, he's not a setter upper. So I love my cheap mini tripod. But I may upgrade down the road. Yeah, in a good way a good way to videotape. LOL. Who said videotape, Roland? Did I? I think I may have said videotape.
I think I might have said videotape because I still say when we're recording, I always still say taping.
Yeah.
But he said that on his last live.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yes, the if you do by chance My Alabama Farm Life, if you do upgrade, definitely consider that Joby, because I'm telling you, it's definitely next level. Vanna did. Vanna's you.
That doesn't surprise me at all. Because I always, instead of he used the word recording, I use the word taping.
Yep. Yep. Paula says she ends up using filming. So Insta 360, what? Insta 360, the best way I can explain it, it is a modular action camera. Modular action camera. You're just gonna have to go look at it, Eva. I think, yeah, that's Eva. Eva asked that. Yep. You're gonna have to go look at it. It's really cool. But again, it's one of those, if you're in need of a camera, I can't justify it because our GoPro Hero 6 works just like the day we first got it. The M50 was purchased less than a year ago, so I can't blame it on the fact that I need to upgrade. All of them have external mics that work extremely well. There's, like I said, I just cannot justify going out and buying an Insta 360. But if I absolutely needed to upgrade, or I felt like it was time, Insta 360 or GoPro Hero 9. So I end up saying filming a drone would be sweet. Yeah, I'm totally on board, Conrad. Man, I could get some stuff. Filmed with a drone. Plus I could also pick on Lala a lot. I'm looking at it. What kind would you suggest? There are several. Well, that's the weird thing, Eva. There are not several Insta 360s. There is one Insta 360. There are several lenses. What I would recommend is they have, I think, if I'm not mistaken, there's an HD. They have 4 lenses total. I would stay away from the 360 unless you're really you're getting it for a very certain reason, because the editing is not super easy on 360 footage. The wide angle would be equivalent to a wide angle lens or the wide angle setting in a GoPro. So wide angle would be a good option. And I think they just have a standard like HD lens, which is what we use a lot in our GoPro. And it really just gives you just straight to the point, HD squared. There's no widened fisheye lens or anything like that. It's just a standard. So I bought Dave a drone for Christmas about 3 years ago. He's never flown it outside. That is awful. I don't know what kind of drone it is. If it's like a Phantom or a DJI, yes, that would be awful. He has flown it inside. Oh, he has flown. Yes. Okay. I see it. Once or twice. Yeah. So for people looking for a drone, look at the DJI Mini 2 4K drone, especially in Australia, as it's light enough that you don't need a yearly aviation license. What? You need a yearly aviation license? Well, maybe just nobody in Podunk, Florida does it. For people, yep. So that's insane. I didn't even know really that you needed an aviation license to fly a drone. So I know that the minis are like super, super small.
They're supposed to be registered.
Well, can you register those at Walmart, Papa?
I don't know. I didn't register the one that I've got.
Yeah, if you can't register at Walmart, it's probably, I'm not going to register it. So sorry. I'd like a drone. How much drone footage would one need? See, Roland, that's the difference. That's the difference. I am a fan of shooting some B-roll, and drone footage is all B-roll. I'm a fan of B-roll. Can't ever get enough. So I'm going to start using this spring. Over a certain weight, you have to be licensed. America's having conversations about instituting a license for drones. Paula Wells, do not tell me that. It depends on the size of the drone in Canada. So Canadians. So anyway, guys, we are sitting at like an hour and 35 minutes. So if you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate dropping them in the comment section below after the video is done. Not taking no more questions tonight. I am probably going to take I have a lot of things that I have to do on the outside of the computer next weekend. So I will probably not be doing a live next Sunday, but we'll follow up with a live 2 Sundays from now. And I will let you guys, we are still doing our Wednesday lives, but we're just going to skip a Sunday because I got a lot of stuff I got to do on the outside. But thank you guys again, especially the ones that this is your first time coming in and hanging out with us. Me and Papa definitely appreciate every single one of y'all, especially the new guys and the ones that have been here for a while. You guys are all awesome. I hope that the content that we gave you guys tonight was worth sticking around for an hour and 35 minutes for. And again, if you guys have ideas of future videos or things that you guys want more aid with, or you have questions for that you want answers, don't hesitate to, again, either email us. Paula just went ahead and I think, if I'm not mistaken, dropped the Lala email address. But it's lala@thelalafarm.com for suggestions on future videos for the how or help you grow segment on Sundays. If you can also just leave them in the comment section.
Roland says that Vanna did a wonderful job.
Vanna did do a wonderful job, as always. Vanna has always done an amazing job. So, but again, thank you guys for coming in and watching us. We're gonna head off because I got crying and screaming babies in the background. Papa, lead us off.
All right, folks, remember, always treat others as you would like to be treated. Good night, folks.
Thank you, Bomber Steve. You were muted, Dad.
Oh, all right. Now I'm unmuted. So as Vanna White would say, otherwise known as Papa, always remember, folks, treat others as you would like to be treated. Be well, my friends. Take care.
Night, everybody.